What is up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Guns, Nerds, and Steel. This is going to be just a quick recap of dev stream number 3. Now, if you missed the recaps for the first 2 dev streams, head over to this link right here that contains a playlist of the first 2 dev stream recaps. The first one went over a general overview of Alpha 20. The second one went over POIs and the new random world generator that will be included with Alpha 20. And this one today will go over characters, models, and animations. The structure of the video will be as follows. First, we'll talk about some of the changes that'll be coming to Alpha 20, some of the additions, new things that they're introducing. Secondly, we'll have a look at all of the new models and things that they showed us. And lastly, we'll discuss some of the Q&A, questions and answers that were presented at the end of the stream. So check your cheese and bologna at the door, and let's begin.
Buddy, I'm Joel.
Hey, I'm Joey Struvey.
Go ahead, Keanu.
Hey, how's it going, everyone?
Hey everybody, I'm Brooke Riley.
Hi, my name is Ryan Rayner.
Hi, I'm Koji Higashi.
So we're going to start off here looking at the new, what they're calling the Gibbs System, and this is basically body dismemberment. Now, we sort of have this right now in Alpha 19, where body parts can be destroyed and they basically just vaporize as soon as they're shot off. But what they're going to introduce are basically body parts, and so you can hit like a leg or the head or, whatever body part, and pieces of it will kind of fall out. And there's just a little clip here of some of the high resolution textures, the tongue, the eyeballs, and stuff like that will be a part of this in the future. Now, this animation here is so good, and I wish this was going to be in the game. Unfortunately, this is a concept design, so you're not going to see this exactly replicated here in Alpha 20, but this is what they're going for right now. They want you to be able to, the example they gave here was that this zombie gets hit in the back of the head with a blunt weapon, and this is the result. This is the dismemberment animation that you would get from hitting him in the back. And here you can see the body dismemberment sort of in action, where you can just hit a limb and the limb falls off. Now, they're saying that eventually you'll do this and the limb won't just vaporize, it'll actually fall off and like land on the ground. And they were even kind of joking that, oh, maybe someday it would be cool if you could pick the limb up and use it as a weapon. But, I wouldn't expect that anytime soon, but you can kind of get the sense of where they're going with this. They want there to be some more gore. They want blood on the ground. They want blood splatter. They want the brains, the eyeballs, and stuff like that. They want to make it like a horror game. Also, some really cool shots of the decapitation animations. Now, they've also said during the stream that this is not going to be complete for every single zombie at the release of Alpha 20. So it's something that they're going to be releasing in stages. So as we get Alpha 20, you can expect this to perhaps be available for a handful of zombies, and as they kind of tweak and fine-tune the animations and the body parts for all of the zombies, you'll see it kind of be implemented more and more as we get sort of the staged release of the new Alpha. So maybe by the end, or maybe even by the time it goes stable, we'll have pretty much all of the zombies with these cool dismemberment animations. The other thing that they talked about in depth is the jiggle tech. Now, we've been introduced to this so far because we've got the new stripper and she's got the jiggle tech, and you can see here the new lab zombie with the jiggle tech applied to the wrist. It's basically just dangling on there by some tendons and flopping all around. So their plan is to apply this maybe not to every zombie, but to like a lot of the zombies. So specifically, they talked about the cop having jiggle tech in his abdomen and how they can apply sort of a weight to certain body parts and allow them to jiggle more or less. It's also going to happen to the new blob zombie or a gas zombie or a pus zombie. I don't know. They're giving it a lot of names. I don't think they've settled on one just yet, but he's going to have jiggle tech. They've also given it to the new soldier, and I'm just going to like tease that a little bit right here, and we'll look more at it later. But yeah, the soldier's going to have jiggle tech with like his guts and the body armor vest that he's wearing. The Screamer as well appears to be getting a really cool sort of, I don't know if you call it a jiggle tech or just an animation where she's going to like open her mouth and you're going to see the tongue kind of wiggle and stuff. And so that's going to be a new feature. You can also see the new spider zombie, which looks really cool. And then this is going to have a special animation that like opens up the mouth. They were kind of drawing some inspiration from Predator, from like insects, and having the sort of jaw open up like this. Okay, moving on now to the new models and the new characters and textures and stuff that they showed us. So there's a distinction to be made here. They showed us what they call the high-res models, and then there's a low-res model. The low-res model is what is applied in the game. The high-res model is more or less like concept art, and then I'm not, a professional video game maker, so I don't understand all of the language that they used, but essentially they said that they like capture a picture of the high-res model and they apply that to the low-res model, and apparently that makes it look better and look more realistic. So a lot of what we're going to see here are the high-res models, but that's not necessarily what you're going to see in the game. The first one we're looking at here is the burned zombie. I think that we started off with the high res. We're moving on to the low res. Some interesting thing that they commented on is that this was actually made by looking at I guess it was sort of implied that they were looking at actual burned corpses to come up with the art design here. So, man, I'd hate to have that job. All right, here's some like high res shots of the Screamer looking awesome, very like horror film-esque. Reminds me of The Ring, kind of like the creepy woman that was in that. We also get some really cool shots of all of the not all of the traders, because they're leaving Trader Jen out in typical Fun Pimp fashion. I think they're saving that one for a big reveal later on. Anyway, we've got Trader Hugh. We've seen this on Twitter before, so no big news there. We did get to see Trader Wrecked for the first time right here. He's looking pretty good. There's a shot here of the new feral white, or the new white. I guess from what they were saying, there's going to be like, radiated white, feral white, regular white. So, it's all basically the same. But one cool thing that they did talk about is that when they make these designs, they're putting in elements that will kind of pop more when they make them radiated. So the good example of that is the cop, which I'll show right here. So the cop has these like pimples, these like pustules on his face, and they're kind of like green and glowy. Well, this is just like the normal cop, but when the cop is actually a radiated cop, they're gonna just be accentuated by his radiation. And so I thought it was cool that they're not just applying like a green glow, like a generalized green glow. They're actually like working in radiated, like mutated looking elements. Okay, they did show us a couple of the old zombies. I guess they're not old. They were new, but they're ones that we've seen in Alpha 19. But if you're kind of new to the game, or you're coming in and you haven't really played some of the later Alpha 19, you can see the new construction zombie, you can see the new businessman zombie, the new Marlene, the new janitor, and I don't think that they're changing very much. They might get the jiggle tech applied to them in the future. They might get the Gibbs sort of stuff applied to them in the future, but I don't think that the overall like model or the texture is going to change at all. And this is the new skateboarder zombie that they're putting in. Really cool. I think this guy's face is probably among my favorites, like how he just has white eyes. They're all glazed over, teeth are missing, the nose is missing. Man, they put a lot of attention into this, and it really shows. They said that it takes somewhere on the order of about a month to do a character from like start to finish, because they talked a lot about how it's a team approach. So one person does the high res, one person does the low res, some person does the texture, the model, someone does the animation. So everyone has to kind of like wait, because there's a sort of sequence to this. You can't have one thing without the other. So, you have to wait for everyone to kind of do their work and then move on to the next step. Not everyone can be working on it at once. It's cool to get some insight into that kind of process. And here is a look at what was the old spider zombie. Now, this is based on an old Kickstarter supporter, like years ago, I would imagine. And they kind of applied this person's likeness into the game with the spider. But where we're getting the new spider, they've now just made this a general population zombie. So, they're getting rid of the cheerleader and the football player. So it stands to reason that perhaps one of those was replaced with this zombie here, like the old version of the spider, who's now just going to be like a regular walking normal general population zombie. So yeah, they want to remove the football player and the cheerleader because they don't really fit into the general landscape of the zombie apocalypse outside of a football stadium or a school. So it always kind of made sense to see them in the high school or at the Navasgain Coliseum or something like that. But it wouldn't make sense to see them anywhere else. And what they want to do here is make all zombies available everywhere, not having like biome specific zombies or, specific to certain POIs. In fact, if you take a look at the new lumberjack right here, they're going to make the lumberjack a general population zombie. So it's no longer going to be just exclusive to the snow biome. You're going to see him pretty much everywhere. Now, they did also talk about perhaps making some kind of like a snowy, bluish kind of hue, like making them look like they're cold or snowy, and for that to be applied to zombies when you're in the snow biome. But it didn't sound like that's something that's like late in development, or it's certainly not done, but that's something that they might be looking into in the future. Here's a quick look at the new nurse. She's looking really good. I like this. I never really liked the Halloween nurse, so I'm glad to see them go with a more realistic feel here with the scrubs and the stethoscope and everything like that. Good change in my opinion. Not sure where the jiggle tech is going to be on this one. It could be on the stethoscope. I thought that I saw jiggle tech on her jaw at some point, like she had a broken wiggly jaw, but it doesn't appear to be the way that they're going with some of these more recent images. Guess that remains to be seen. Oh, this is one of my favorites. The new soldier zombie. Like, I'm a veteran, so I look at this and I see a lot of the equipment that I used, that I saw. They've gone with an incredibly realistic type of model here. This is definitely like special operations feeling. The helmet, the body armor. He's got side plates. He's got the backpack, the boots. Everything is just really looking sharp here. Tons of attention to detail went into this, and if you look at this animation right here, it really looks like the zombies kind of tore into him, like they got through the body armor. He's even got bullet wounds in his head, like where he got shot in the face at some point. Like they've talked about in the dev stream doing storytelling through these characters. So if you went into detail and you looked really closely, you could almost like gather part of this person's history. And they talked about trying to apply that to the new Big Mama, which they did not reveal, trying to apply that to the cop, trying to apply that to the new nurse, because the nurse actually has an ID badge with a picture of that particular person that turned into that particular zombie. So again, just it speaks to the detail that they're putting into this. And again, just some pictures of the new spider. They're definitely pushing this one. What I thought was interesting about this discussion on this particular zombie is that this is a toned down version. So when they first redesigned the spider, apparently it was a bit too over the top. So they reeled it back a little bit, and this is what they came up with. They're definitely going for a sort of mutated type of feel, not necessarily like science fiction. Well, it's all science fiction, right? But you know what I mean? So they're in the realm of plausibility, I guess. All right, new hazmat zombie, love it. Notably, he's missing his right boot. Someone was commenting, they were kind of joking around about, I guess there's a couple zombies, I must have missed the other one, but there's a couple zombies that are missing the right boot, and they're like, why are they all missing the right boot? So yeah, good touch there. I do like that. The new dog, yes, we've seen this. We love it. They actually basically said that this is the Resident Evil dog. Like, they weren't even trying to hide it. Like, they literally ripped this off of Resident Evil, and they were not even ashamed about it. Yes, the new bird. So yes, they are working on new animals. And it was interesting because one of the things that Brett Briley, the senior character artist, was talking about is that they weren't necessarily given direction to work on some of the animals, but Brett kind of took it upon himself in his, I guess, spare time, or just kind of as a pet project. He wanted to update a lot of the animals because he felt like they looked out of place. So they are working on it. No new animals have been confirmed. I mean, they talked like 100 times about a squirrel, but I'm pretty sure it was just all jokingly, but I don't know, you never know. But here's just a look at like the new bird. Apparently this is not stuff that's necessarily going to be ready for the first release of Alpha 20, but you can maybe expect it to be an ongoing project. Maybe it'll come out in some of the updates, or maybe it'll be pushed out towards Alpha 21. All right, so now we're moving on to the Q&A portion. There wasn't a lot of good information that came out of this. There were a lot of off-topic questions. There were a lot of questions that they couldn't answer. They actually answered. They went into great detail during the stream, so in some regards, there weren't a lot of questions left over. But anyway, I'm just going to leave it to the developers to kind of answer some of these questions so you can hear it directly from them. Some of it is good information for us. Some of it applies to Alpha 20. Some of it applies to beyond. But go ahead and enjoy about a minute or two of this, and then we'll close things out.
Somebody did ask if the new Gibbs system is in Alpha 20, and that's a gradual thing. So like at first release, a few zombies will have it, and then as Alpha 20 updates come, then more zombies will get it.
I think somebody asked about color variation for the zombies. I think I don't know if we have it written in stone, but I think we're going to try to do some color swapping stuff for some of the zombies where we get a little more color variation in some of their clothing.
Yeah.
Someone did ask about if there was going to be any player creation changes like to the models there. I know that's not supposed to be Alpha 20, but do you guys know when we're supposed to be doing that?
Future.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in the
You heard it
works
here,
for sure.
everybody. Future. Are we ever going to get the behemoth? No, you're not going to get the behemoth.
How many zombies in total are gonna make this alpha? Wasn't it like 20 or 15, 20?
Yeah, it's a lot. It's quite a bit. So
Will the deer and pigs, etc., be updated for Alpha 20? So will the other animals be updated?
no, I got some of them going in the high poly. I've been doing it on the side, but that takes a lot to get done. So I do have a boar going, the bear, chicken, the rabbit, the deer. Somebody asked about the blood spraying like Left 4 Dead. I think Ryan's playing with that. He also mentioned that we're trying to take a look at pulling back the gore and seeing if that's possible. So I'm not too sure how much blood is going to spill out of them at the point. But Ryan, you could probably just have 75 gallons come out, can't you?
Somebody asked when the limbs are chopped off, will you see them actually fall to the ground, kind of like the head did? Yes, it just wasn't implemented at the time the video was made.
Sitting animation doesn't seem that hard to do. Now that I've seen a lot of people want to sit for some reason on furniture.
Somebody asked about the performance on the jiggle stuff too. At one point I tested 100 zombies on screen with it on and off, and the difference was pretty negligible. It's pretty cheap.
But yeah, you all have a great night, and thank you again for being here, and we will see you all later.
Anyway, my friends and fellow survivors, that is going to have to do it for this week's Alpha 20 Dev Stream recap video. I hope that you'll tune in again next week for another one. But until then, I wish you all the very best. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. While you're waiting for the next video, check out the links in the description for more content, ways to support the channel, and ways to become a part of the GNS community. If I don't catch you on the Discord or on the GNS multiplayer server, maybe I'll catch you in the comments down below. My name is Temreki, and I hope that I've earned your subscription today. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.